Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to have a go unwrapping our hand drill that we modelled in the first video. So first thing I'm going to do is select all of our objects, go to UV and delete UVs, which is there. So what I'm then going to do is we'll start from the hand and work our way around. Bearing in mind, remember we haven't actually smoothed anything down at the minute, we've just smooth previews. So if I hit 3, if I hit 1, it goes back to how it originally was. But it's because it's easier to unwrap things when they're not yet smooth. So what I'm going to do, I select that and I'm on Control 1 just to isolate it. I'm going to select it, go to UV and UV editor. Mine's my other screen, so I'm going to drag it over. I'm going to bring my object over so it's a bit easier to see. And then I'm going to go to Object, Create, and Camera Based. Now for now, I'm going to turn off my checker map like that because I don't need it. And we just want to start putting in seams where our material is going to end. So I'm going to select a couple of these edges, just holding down Shift and double clicking. Then I'll come around and do the back over here. Then if I bring this up, I'm going to hold down Shift, right click, go to Cut, right click, go to UV Shell, select all, Shift, right click, go to Unfold. And then what I'm going to do, if I press these buttons here, is my checker mark up, I bring it over, you'll see that it will bring up my material with the checker map. Now at the minute, we're not going to bother worrying about the scale yet. We will rotate it and everything when I've finished as well, but for now, I'm just going to unwrap everything first. But the whole point of UV unwrapping, or one of the main reasons, is to make sure that the density is all the same. So when we've unwrapped everything, we kind of want those boxes to all remain a similar size. So that one is done for now. I'm going to just turn off these checker map because we don't actually need it for now. Right, I'm then going to Control 1 to unisolate. Move to my next object, Control 1, create and camera based, and just the same thing, go to edge, let's grab that edge, and then Shift right click, go to cut. Some of these objects will be quite simple because we only had simple cylinders for a lot of these, which is quite nice. And a lot of it is just rinse and repeat. So we're going to go to create, camera based, edge, let's grab these edges, Shift right click, cut, select all, Shift right click, unfold. Again, we're not worrying about where it's going at the minute. They're all going to be on top of each other, but for now, it doesn't really matter. We're just trying to get them all done first, and then we'll arrange it all afterwards. This is easier with a second monitor, but if you haven't got one, it doesn't matter. So I'm doing it all on one screen now. Typically, I do it on 2 screens. Remember, ideally what you want to do is make it so the seams are somewhere that won't be seen. It's not always possible. But yeah, just somewhere where they're not going to, it's less obvious where those joins are. Remember, just Control 1 to isolate, and then you can do Control 1 again to unisolate. So for this one, because it's quite complex and it's not going to be seen, it's not going to be that detailed, I'm going to do an automatic for that one. You see it's done all the teeth individually for me, so I'm going to leave that like that. Automatic doesn't always work amazingly, but things like that it'll be absolutely fine. We're also actually going to do an automatic for the drill bit as well. And then let's grab the cylinder under there first. Yeah, you can do automatic for everything, but so it's worth practicing. I know UV unwrapping is like everyone's least favorite thing to do, but it is a necessary evil to get your things looking how you want them to look. So we're making some good progress working our way across. Let's then have a go at doing our thread. And let's grab inside the thread like that. Shift right click. We are going to have slightly different material here as well. So this is going to be like knurled material, and then this is going to be like steel. So we're going to have to separate that a little bit later as well. And then down at the bottom, let's have one going all the way across. Shift right click, cut. And the reason why we're going to do automatic for our drill bits, if I unlace like that, because we've done excuse me, because we've done a boolean, it's kind of messed up our edge flow a little bit. So if I double click there, it's not going to automatically wrap around, which means you'd have to go around and select everything individually, which is an absolute pain. It'll take forever. Whereas actually, because it's quite a uniform shape, well, not uniform shape, but the material's been quite uniform, there's no grains in it. It doesn't necessarily matter. I'm just going to do another automatic there, like that. Okay, so that is everything at the top. I've forgotten to do this one. Go to create, color based. Last couple of pieces. So once you get used to doing camera-based things, you realise that actually it does go by very quickly. Especially with things that are so small, they're not really going to be like zoomed in or anything like that. You realise it doesn't really matter a great deal. Oh. Like things like these screws, yeah, we're going to put in like a Phillips head thing too as well. But in terms of like, it's not the big focus of the actual model itself. So the seams and that sort of thing don't matter where you put them really. So it's just pick a seam, cut and unfold. Okay, so the only one that's a little bit of a challenge really is the big gear here. So we're going to do it in a couple of different parts. So let's go to color paste again. Straight away we can definitely do these parts here. And same for this edge here. So you can see we can actually move those away so you can see what we've actually done. So the only bit we've got to do now is the main bit here with the teeth. Now this is the bit that's going to take a little bit longer, so I'll speed this up when it actually comes to editing. But all we'll do is essentially just come around and grab all of those edges. So basically I'm going to I'll grab one, two to show you, like that. So I'm just going to come around and grab those four edges, and then we'll grab one like that, and then that will be one tooth done. But what we'll do is I'll zoom. I'll speed this up because it's going to take a little bit of time. But nothing exciting, it's just rinse and repeat again. Okay, so not complex, just time consuming and a bit boring. I'm going to bring my UV editor back up, shift right click, go to cut, go to UV shell, and unfold. So then we've got all our teeth are done. So then what we can do is everything unwrapped. Go to object, control 1 to unisolate. I'm going to go to object, select everything, bring my UV editor back over here, and at the minute, mainly a mess because everything's all on top of each other. Go to UV, select all, right click, go to modify, and I'm going to go to layout. And what's happened is it's arranged everything for me automatically. It should have scaled it. I'm going to turn on my UV checker map, bring it over so we can see what's going on. So now what's happened is you can see we have got our cubes all looking pretty similar. Now, some of these parts here are in red, which means that they are flipped over the wrong way around. So if I bring this over, you can see that it's red there. So if I select it, I go to modify, and it should be, where is it? Flip. And you see now it's turned blue. Same over here. I'm going to go to modify and flip. Bring it over. So in fact, it's just saying this one here is still the wrong way around. So what I'm going to do is I can see it's here. I'm going to go to edge. I'll select that one. Let's go to cut. Just take that off for a second. There we go. That's better. Basically, if I bring that over here, in fact, no, because it's outside the checker box. If I turn this box off now here, because it's outside, it's not going to turn up on the outside, I don't think. Yeah, so it's got like both crosses there. So all I'm going to do is bring it back over, the UV shell, select everything, give it one more, modify and layout. Bring it back over again. So if we look, it doesn't look like anything here is red. Everything looks like it is to the correct scale. So I'm going to close my UV editor. And the last thing to do, before I do anything actually, let's just give that a quick little save. I'm just going to add in a ID map. So all that means I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, first of all, let's go around and smooth everything. So I go to mesh and smooth. Everything that needs to be smooth, that is. So what I tend to do is it's not always everything that needs to be smoothed. It's because I can't always remember what I have and haven't smoothed. What I tend to do is click on the object, press 1, then 3, and see if I did smooth it or not. So let's give that a smooth. And the good thing is your UVs will update with the smooth that you've done. And it just makes it a lot easier than texture or UV unwrapping when it's smooth, because actually that's quite difficult to do because there's so many more things to look at. Let's just do these ones. Okay, so last thing to do, let's just click on each object. Paint material, doesn't really matter, I'll just do a blend, and over here I'll just name it and call it main handle. It's important to name these as well, because then it'll have the names when you jump into Substance Painter. Handle connect. You have to excuse all my spelling mistakes. doesn't really matter what you name them, it's just so I know when I come to texture what it is. And then I'm just going to give all these screws the same ID map. Okay, so each object has now been unwrapped. We've also added a texture ID to it. So I'm going to give that a quick little save. Select everything. Up at the top here, I'm going to delete history and pre-transformations. Then all I'll need to do then is go to File, Export All, and then I will just call that. Okay. So that is the end of unwrapping our hand drill. In the final part, we'll jump into Substance Painter and have a go at texturing it. Hopefully you found that useful and interesting. Any questions, please leave a comment down below or email me at design with simon@outlook.com.